This is introduction to palmistry. So this is a disclaimer, and the presentation is for entertainment purposes only. So this our historic perspective is in India, and the wiki says that Rishi Valmiki is thought to have written a book of 567 verses, and then the travelers from China have recorded that this art of palmistry was practiced in India, and then it moved to Tibet and China, and also to the other Euro-Asian landmasses. Finally, somehow it reached Aristotle in Greece, who taught it to Alexander, who practiced it. Modern palmistry is by Cairo in Europe, or Chirio, and it was between 1800 and 1900 he developed it. Most recently, we find that fingerprint and palm print is being used for authentication. Fingerprint was used for authentication even in courts all over the world. And कुठचंही हात बघताना हे फॅक्टर्स असतात. काय शेप ऑफ द हँड म्हणजे असा चौकोनी आहे की कोनिकल आहे, माउंड्स एलिव्हेटेड आहेत की असे फ्लॅट आहेत, लाईन्स डीप आहेत की फेंट आणि नॉट विजिबल आहेत, नंतर थंब असा फ्लेक्झिबल आहे की स्टिफ आहे, फिंगर्स क्रुकेड आहेत की कोनिकल आहेत, असं बघतात. सो दिस इज जस्ट एन ओव्हरव्ह्यू. So a simple hand can be a simple person who will have very few lines on the hand, whereas a cunning, shrewd person or a complex thinking person will have multiple lines in their palm. Then there'll be signs all over the palm, and there'll be stars or squares or dollar signs and on the mounts. Then on the fingers there'll be some Shankha and Chakra signs. Then the time, number of years when a particular event can happen can be calculated on the lines. Then color of the palm and warmth of the palm matters. So this is about all the lines. You have to look for the depth and darkness of the lines, the offshoots from the lines, the cuts in the lines. They indicate. So for example, fate line, when it is cut, they indicates change of job, change of situation. Then islands on the lines generally mean trouble, like island on a heart line will mean a weakness in the heart or health. Then inclination leading to mounts. So if the headline is inclined towards the lunar, then the person is more compassionate, they are more popular, love people, and they feel for the people. But those who have a straight headline, they are not involving with people much. So that's the thing. So we represent the mounts and the planets on the mounts. So from left of the hand, we start with Mercury to next is Sun, next is Saturn, and next is Jupiter. And the Mars has two mounts on both the sides. So if we take a point A at the base of the index finger and point B at the starting of the headline, then and halfway is point C. And we take the point D as the base of the little finger, and the point E at the end of the headline, and then draw these lines. Then we can see the mounts clearly. So and we draw these vertical lines from the between the fingers. So the Jupiter is defined right under the index finger, and the Mars is defined under the Jupiter. Then Saturn is defined under the index finger, and no, not under the ring finger. Sun is defined under the ring finger. Saturn is defined under the middle finger, and Mercury is under the little finger. And below Mercury is Mars 2. So these are the two mounts of Mars. Also, if you draw a semicircular line from the base of the index finger and the base of the ring finger, so you will get these two circles, and the one we call it as Moon, and the other one we call it as Venus. Number of years can be found from these divisions. So let's say these are 21 years. So first 21 years on the heart line, next to 42, and the next to 63. Then same way with the headline, but now the headline starts at all the way to the edge of the finger hand, and 21, 42, 63, and then maybe 84. So same way with the lifeline, it starts with 0 on near the thumb and ends on 100 at the base of the hand. So same way the fate line starts at 0 at the base of the hand and goes to say 70 up to the middle finger. But its intersections with the headline and the heart line, they indicate transition dates. So here we are saying 28, 42, and then about 63 or 70. So any discontinuities will tell you that up to the age of 28, what were the transitions, what were the changes, how did the person move from city to city or for his school to college and so on. Then between 28 and 42, it shows the career, and even 42 onwards, it will show the career. So you can actually predict job changes from fate line. So the thumb makes a very interesting reading amongst all the fingers. Its flexibleness shows the flexibility of the person, not firm opinions. Actually, they are kind of loose. And then there are 3 sections on the thumb separated by their lines. So the first one we call it as research, the second one we call it as analysis, and the third one is the decision making. So depending on the size of each section, we can say that okay, you're going to take less time in researching, more time in analyzing, and again more time in decision making. But some people may have very narrow band for research, so people act without thinking much. So those are the kind of people they come in this. Then bendable thumb, of course, means a flexible person, and if it is stiff, then it is an adamant person. So these are some of the common questions asked to a palmist. That and these are mainly about marriage and affairs and children. And marriage, it's from the base of the little finger. So you take a 0 exactly at the base and make it a 50 at the where the headline intersects. What are the odds that I'll marry and will I get ever married? So a dark line coming from the edge of the palm into the mound of Mercury, that indicates the marriage line, and that's why the age can be calculated by having where that intersection is, where that line is on this 0 to 50 portion. Then how old will I be when I get married? That's the time you will get married. then did I have unsuccessful affairs before marriage? Now, nobody asked this, but you can look at the hand and tell them that, look, you had some kind of affair before the marriage. And those will be the faint lines before marriage lines. Is spouse dominant or are we equal? So if this marriage line bends down, then you are dominant, and if it bends up, then the spouse is dominant. And if it doesn't bend at all, if it is a straight line, then you are friends, you are equals. Arguments in the marriage are given by the vertical lines intersecting this marriage line, and how deep and how whether they cut in a very sharp way. So at what age will I have children? This is similar to at what age I'll get married. Look for the marriage line, and below the marriage line there are children lines. And again, between the base of Mercury, base of little finger, and the heart line, that is treated as 0 to 50, and then accordingly you find where the line intersects. Am I going to break up with my spouse? The marriage line, if it has got vertical lines coming from base of little finger and intersecting, and if they are dark, there is a possibility. Whose fault is it if it is breakup? Well, that again goes by the marriage line going up or down. If it is going up, then it is a spouse. If it is going down, then it is you. So do I have a strong career? It goes by the fate line, where the fate line begins. And most of this is covered in the fate line, but it will start again. Fate line up to 28 is from base to the headline. 28 to 42 is up to the heart line. And then 42 up to 60, 70 is the portion above the heart line. Will I stay in the same job all along my life? Now, if there is no change in the fate line, then yes. But even if there is a, say, just a small change, it will mean that you will move out of the job. And the age at which it is moved out is predicted by the by where the change or the cut or the intersecting line comes. The change in the career or change in the city is also indicated from fate line. And if there are parallel lines to the fate line, then there are multiple jobs done at the same time, or the multiple interests. Usually the lifeline is the life support line, and the lifeline gives you the desire to stay alive. And if it is short, then your strength and is not there, and you are quite likely to succumb to minor issues. The life-threatening events are by cuts in the lifeline, breakages, and islands, and other signs. Will I survive life-threatening event? If the line again continues, then there is a very good chance that you will survive those events. If not, then it is up to your fate. Compassion towards people, colleagues, associates, subordinates, neighbors, and friends is indicated by your headline going towards the lunar mount. And if it doesn't go to the lunar at all, then there may be a problem. If it is straight line, then you are more practical and don't get involved with people. Other than the major lines are the sun line, which starts from the base of the ring finger and can go all the way up to the fate line. Then its strength and the thickness and darkness gives you how famous you get. Then publications line and investment lines are same. Some people write a lot and some people just invest very well. A fortune line is a line on the moon, the lunar mount, and a dark line indicates that you are fortunate with people. Success overseas is the line starting from the lunar line, lunar mount, and going up to in the direction of the fate line. Girdle of Sun and girdle of Venus are the two things. Girdle of Sun gives you a lot of fame. Girdle of Venus, however, gives you fame with the opposite sex. So these are the resources I used. Wikipedia has excellent work on palmistry. WikiHow also gives 7 steps to read the palm. And these are, of course, both are not really deep. They're just superficial. Then timings on the hand line, there's a lady called Frederick, and she reads it very well. I think she's from England or something. Then there is one Dr. Sagar. He has several YouTube videos. And of course, the big Cairo book, Complete Palmistry.